Be yourself.
Everyone else is taken.
But do you just want... Not bad. It's a good way to finish your podcast. I might take that. But do you want me to say that we've got someone, or do you? Want
Do you
me
talk to the camera as well? Like if I go I look and
We've kind of ruined it who we've got on. He's very
Yeah.
talking. Go.
G'day, Ben. But do you want? Am I talking to you, or am I talking to?
Magoo's.
Oh, right. Magoo's viewers, welcome to our first ever pre-season edition. A lot of the senior sides have gone back. Ben, here, stay on me for a bit. Yeah, thanks, mate. A lot of the senior sides have gone back, so we thought we'd join them in the summer sun. We're going to get underway early, and we've got a very special guest for you. I'm not sure where Ben is, but when he gets here, we'll start an absolutely cracking show. You want me to just say it? Yeah. Okay. We've got Dylan Buckley here, live in the Magoo studio. Dylan, welcome.
Thank you, boys. Pleasure to be here. I've been waiting for a long time and finally got the call up, so thanks for having me.
And now Ben's just joined us.
Oh, where'd you come?
Sorry,
Thanks,
mate.
Ben.
Sorry, mate.
You're right,
Good
mate.
to be here.
Fantastic.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
So, it's been a while since we've spoken,
has
literally,
been, yeah.
because we don't speak outside, which I realised today when we
Yeah.
were driving here, thinking we've got nothing else to talk about.
Yeah. No, I'm not really all over football at the moment, so you both might have to fill me in.
Compared to when
Compared to winter.
during the season when he's all over it, he watches about half a game a week, so it makes it pretty easy.
I live in Sydney now, mate, so you probably watch it a lot more than me too.
Yeah, there you go. It's all on you.
So we've had about 2 months, Ben, since we last sat down
It's been that long. Shit.
and a little bit's happened. West Coast won the flag,
Yep.
which last time we spoke was the morning of. You tipped Collingwood, so
I don't think I did, actually.
tipped Collingwood.
Definitely
So you
didn't.
were wrong with that one. And then we had a trade period, which is bigger
Yeah.
than Ben Hur now. So
Yeah.
we're going to go through all of this. We obviously have GWS superstar Dylan Buckley in the house, which we alluded to earlier.
I'll tell you what, I've been called a lot of things over my career, but that is the first time it's been GWS superstar.
And also a legend of the podcasting world himself,
Yes.
which we'll dive into as we continue on. But what we're going to do is we're just going to have a little bit of an overview first of all the things that are. Yeah, cool.
Got some questions.
Oh, you got some notes. So we'll just go through a real quick trade period wrap and
Yeah.
a few little questions that I've got to ask you boys about where we think some teams stand, and then we'll get right into Dill's personal life a little bit later on. I think. So what we've seen, and it's overshadowed a little bit, and maybe Dylan can shed some light on how much is going on that we don't get to see, but off-field scandals, gentlemen, has been the name of the game so far. We've had
for a while, though.
yeah, but I mean, it seems like they're drip feeding us one every couple of weeks at the moment. I mean, we've just had old mate Dane Zorko's personal life splashed all over Instagram stories.
Yep, we did say that.
Who else did we have? We had Jackie Watts, or alleged Jack Watts.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
Nah. What happened with that?
Oh, there's a whole lot of leaked messages that someone found on his computer, which was sort of contrarian to the fact that he may have a girlfriend. So that didn't bode overly well for him.
Yeah.
And
Dylan would like to shed light on it. Do you know anything?
No, absolutely no idea what you're alluding to there.
No,
But,
well, I don't.
look, it is that time of year, and I suppose if I can comment on the situation,
please do.
I think that it is a really hard time for footballers this time of year, because I think now the game's so big, the fans want more, everyone wants more. Obviously, everyone's got personal lives, and these days we've got these little things called iPhones, and silly things get done. Obviously, all those boys are extremely regretful, and look, they do happen, but I think you just got to really move on. And once they've said their sorries, give them a slap on the wrist, and the proof will be in the pudding how they react to it. So hopefully we can move on and go from there.
There you go.
Well, I think
Sounded
that
pre-recorded.
it did sound very, very well rehearsed, didn't it? But what I sort of, I guess, struggle with a little bit is that when it's like just a personal indiscretion, they haven't broken any laws, like when it's drugs related and stuff, that's always going to sell papers, whatever. But, if Dane Zorko has allegedly been cheating on his missus or whatever the situation may be, for mine, that's not really public, that's not newsworthy stuff for mine. I mean, I can understand the interest in it, but when it's just a personal issue. I think. It sort of gets blown out of the water a bit too much for mine. But we won't dwell on the negatives.
No, it's not.
We won't dwell on the negatives. We'll look at what was probably the biggest trade period we've ever seen. Your mob began Essendon up to their eyeballs in it.
Thanks, mate.
Terrible, very disappointing.
You were bullish last year about the Dons. They got in Sard, Stringer.
Me personally?
Yeah, you were.
No, I've been
you were
pretty
bullish.
modest about it.
You were pretty bullish.
Nah, I've always
Sard,
been,
Stringer, and
Smith.
yeah. Dill's boy. No, actually, they were like ships in the night.
Yes.
Out Smith in Buckley, weren't they?
Yes.
So,
Yes, we were. I had crossed paths with Devon through the years of. Obviously, footy's a great player, and like you said, I'd be very happy with him at your club.
and you've gone again, the Bombers. You've gone back to the GWS. Well, Carlton cop a lot of stick about going to GWS, but I reckon there's a few former GWS boys rolling around at Essendon.
I love how
too.
you're putting this on me like I'm in the boardroom making
Yeah,
decisions.
but you were very about Essendon all this year, and I was very not.
I'm
And
always
so-
about Essendon. I barrack for him.
Yeah, but I mean, I backed for Carlton, but I didn't say they were
Who
going
do
to
you barrack for, Dylan?
I barrack for the GWS Giants.
There you go.
Big supporter.
Very good answer.
Yeah.
So Dylan Shield came to your club, Ben.
Yeah.
You tried to ring me 3 or 4 times when he announced that, and I
did.
decided not to take the call.
Yeah, a couple of days leading up to it, you're on Twitter and you're very like, "Oh, we're gonna nick him here."
Well, I was in Noosa with him, so I sort of thought
yeah.
Were you, on the jet?
I was
Yeah.
up there with him, so I thought that
Who
we
knew?
were,
All he wanted was a strong latte.
just some serious lads time, some culture
Yeah.
over some coffee.
Yeah.
So he was probably the highest profile move of the trade period, but
One
got a few
of,
clubs
yeah.
here. Yeah, one
Yeah.
of. But I mean, the Giants they lost some senior players, which hopefully opens the door for our good friend here. But they, in what is perceived to be a very strong draft, they upped their hand there while obviously having to offload a few guys that wanted to go home. So, Dill, I know that you probably haven't officially gone back yet, but around the Giants at the moment, what's the feel, after losing a couple of senior players but improving that draft hand?
Yeah, no, it's a good point, mate. I think the Giants, obviously, we did lose a few senior guys that wanted to go home, but obviously it was well noted that there's so many good players at the Giants, and you look at our list, you've got guys like Lockie Whitfield and Stephen Caniglio and players of that calibre. So at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to keep everyone, as disappointing as it is, but look, I've had the fortunate enough to play with a lot of the younger guys at the Giants as well, and I'll tell you that the depth there is as best I've seen. So the club's still in really good stead. Sad as it is to see some of those boys go, like they're fantastic players, and obviously I only had 1 year with them, but I'm sure the service they did for the club, they couldn't be happier. They've been there for about 8 years, so I think they couldn't be happier.
Goes quickly, doesn't it? When you
Does,
think that
8 years.
like the GWS and the Gold Coast guys have put in 6, 7, 8 years service.
I'm coming into my 8th year this year, and I remember leaving school, that long ago.
Yeah,
It's just
8 years.
ridiculous.
It's
That
just
actually-
flown by,
yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
fine.
And I mean, when you look at the contrasting fortunes of the expansion clubs, you've got GWS at one end who have been fairly successful and sort of got a lot right early days, and then unfortunately you've got the Gold Coast Suns down the other end who find themselves. We talk about a few senior players leaving the GWS. The walkout at the Gold Coast Suns has left them, yes, with a strong draft hand, but they could be staring down the barrel here, Benny. If
Bit
they,
of a fire sale
2,
there.
3, and 6 in the draft, in a strong draft, but at the moment they can't keep them. So they're a little bit like an academy at the moment, the Suns. So it was good to see Dave Swallow recommit for 5 years just the other day.
It's a big commitment.
But they brought in some sort of mid-range senior talent to sort of help bring some more kids through. And I do think they still have a solid base of kids, but it could be in for a little bit more pain, the Suns fans up there. But as we said, 2, 3, and 6, and by all reports, which we'll get into a little bit later, they might be still trying to improve that draft hand, maybe get their hands on pick 1, which we'll have a little bit of a look at, done a little bit of a study.
I hear
that
you've
we
done
can-
it. He's got a bit of a game coming up, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, so we
looking
will
forward
get
to
to that. Just as we flick through a couple of other trades, Hawthorn did it again. Scully, Wingard in. They did have to part ways with Burton and pick 15 and 35, but I think
they've done right there.
what they do, they bring in talent that is so good. Like they bring in top talent, and they are willing to get rid of what they feel they have too much of or what they don't need. But Scully and Wingard in that team. I mean, you would have seen, I know he's injured most this year, but Tom Scully, some of the raps on the way he trains, and I mean, the form he's been in the last couple of years is just...
Yeah. I don't think Hawthorn would pick someone up if they didn't think he was right.
They could get him right.
Yeah,
They're pretty clever.
It's very, like I said, it's a massive loss to the club. Obviously, I didn't have the pleasure of ever strapping on the boots with him this year because he was injured pretty much the whole year. Only played pretty much one quarter, I think it was in the end. But from all reports and obviously a fantastic player, amazing runner, and they reckon probably one of the best runners in the game, if not the game scene. So. If there's anyone that can get back from that injury, I reckon it's him.
Yeah. Well said.
And the Demons. I said just before we parted ways, the most valuable player in the comp was Jesse Hogan.
Did ya?
Yeah, 2 first-rounders wasn't enough, was what I said. I said that if they could get 5 and 6, they were still getting ripped off. And old mate Jesse went for a lot less than that.
Yeah.
He went for 6, 20 and... not much more. So I reckon Freo, while they lost Neil, which is obviously a separate deal, I reckon that they've done very, very well to get in a 23, 24-year-old key forward who's just ready to burst at the seams for mine. He's what Freo have wanted for literally as long as I can remember. Since I was a little kid, they've always been bellyaching about help for Pavlich and,
You have been?
No, not me. I couldn't care less about Freo. They have been.
I've never heard you say one.
And I reckon that they've got an absolute winner there. I tell you who I don't reckon did win, though, in the trade period, and that's North Melbourne. They got Polek and they got Hall in from the Gold Coast and they got Pittard, but they missed out on Gaff. And I reckon that they'd probably set themselves for Gaff. And I just think I can't see them improving based on who they bought in. Some good players.
Interesting.
But, yeah, I think that they were probably going for a bigger fish, and the biggest fish of all, of course, was Tom Lynch, who just lobbed it, probably the best side in the competition, bar one day.
Golden State Tiger sort of set up.
Well, I reckon that he was probably the most relieved man in Australia when they didn't even make the grand final, Tom Lynch, because there'd be nothing worse than rolling into a club as the big dog, and then all you can really do is do what they've already done, or you can come in and upset the balance. So I reckon that he would have probably been pretty wrapped. But so I reckon that's some of the big moves that we've looked at over the trade period. We did, of course, overlook the fact that the great man has re-signed with the Giants for another year. So fantastic. The first current day player that we've had on the Magoos too.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Didn't even...
Absolute honour.
There you go.
I appreciate it.
I know. What did you think of the trade period? Noticed Jake was doing a lot of the talking then. And
Well, no one else has got any notes.
Well, you're right. I've got a couple on Dylan, but...
It's a hard one on the trade period. Honestly, boys, I did know a lot about it. I try and stick clear of the off-season. So when I'm away from footy, I like to be away from it. Obviously, there was a lot going on with the Giants, so you always keep an open ear. But I think I was actually in Europe for most of it, so I was sort of waking up in the morning, checking my phone if anything had happened. But look, I think that the way the game's moving now, players are going to be moving freely around a bit more often than not. So, what's good for the players is good for the game. What's good for the game is good for the players.
How nervous is that period? Like, I mean, obviously, when you left Carlton, like for players, when there is that sense of instability, I guess, around, where you're going to be and even if you are contracted, if a club comes to, someone and says, right, we'll give you a pick 20 for Dylan Buckley, and they go, oh, shit, yeah, we'll take that. Yeah. Like, there must just be this air of uncertainty. Or do you get told by the club, if you're 2 years into a 3-year deal, do they say to you, look, regardless of what happens, we're sticking with you? Or, we're going to put you up and then we'll welcome you back? Like, how does that period go for a player? Yeah,
it's spot on. It's a really good question, actually. Like, I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but for my scenario, when I started at Carlton, I signed something like a 3-year, 2-year, and then my 1-year deal. So once I signed that 1-year deal again, I was like, all right, this is getting a bit nervous now because you sign these 1-year deals, you don't know what you're really doing. And it got to the end of that year, and I wasn't oblivious. I knew like what was happening, and to be honest as well, it was sort of a really, really like happy ending. Like as weird as that sounds, it was a good finish at Carlton, and I love the club still. Like, for what they did over those 6 years for me, it was really good. I sat down with Bolts, Sauce, all the guys there, and we just had a really good chat. Got so much out of it. It was pretty emotional. It was just more of a thank you and a goodbye. It's like a happy breakup with a girlfriend. You're just not right for each other. And after that though, I was sort of had that chat, and knowing that there was nothing to really go to yet that was cemented, but I did know there was a couple little things here and there that might be. So I sort of knew that I was going to be delisted, and if I wasn't going to get a trade going through. But the reality is clubs aren't silly either, and they know what's happening. So while it's a club trade for someone they can pick up for free. But that month, I suppose, after I got delisted, it was a very long 30 days, and it was sort of the thing like, it was so hard to hold on to something that it might not be there, and it was just like really, it felt like for me that I was actually, it was scarier than when I first got picked up, because when I first got picked up by Carlton, I knew that I was a father-son pick, and I was, sort of 100% going to go there. But I actually experienced for the first time what it would have been like for an 18-year-old, and to this day, I hadn't told my girlfriend that. Then she knew that I went up to Giants for a meeting, and the draft had been the day before, maybe on the Friday, and I think it was a Saturday, Sunday, then the Monday was the rookie draft, and it was like the last day where I was like, all right, if this doesn't happen, like I'm gonna have to start finding a job here because it's getting to that point.
Yeah.
And I was a bit antsy that morning. I was just like, I didn't say anything that the rookie draft was on, and I said to Jazz, I'm like, oh, let's go for a walk, take the dogs for a walk. She's like, oh, you've been for like 3 walks today. I was like, yeah, no,
It's 9
it's a
a.m.
new passion. Like, I just love it. Like, it's just great.
The dog walker.
So anyway, we're going down this plug. She finally agrees to go for a walk, and I was like, come on, let's go for a walk. She goes, oh, right, let's go for a walk. Anyway, the whole time we're walking, I'm like, you don't even want to talk to me. I was like, classic.
Here we go.
I'm on my phone, literally just watching this draft, and as it comes through, it's loading. Like the rookie drafts, the AFL draft's done on this like multi-million-dollar platform, and it's live updates, everything. The rookie draft's done on dial-up internet that refreshes every like 3 minutes.
Just send the clue of tweeting.
Seriously, like the first pick comes through, and I was like, okay, cool, and I knew like that it was Giants, and I was waiting, and as it refreshed, I saw 2 of my very good friends, Nick Holman and Billy Gowers, get picked up, and I was like, oh, man, how good is this? Good on them, like absolutely rap for them. And as I'd seen it, I saw my name, and I was like, hang on, like, is that actually me? Like, it was literally one of the best feelings I've ever had, and I was so rattled by it because I was in between those 2, and before I'd even known it, I was nearly going to text them and be like, congrats. Then I saw my name, and I was like, this is incredible. So literally, from when I got delisted to when I got picked up, I had absolutely no idea that they were definitely going to take me. And as bad as that wait was, it was nearly the best thing ever.
Wow. So was that a better feeling than when you first got drafted, do you think?
Yeah, definitely it was. Because, like I said, I had a feeling, and I sort of already knew that I'd committed to going to Carlton, because before the father-son stuff, you sort of commit a few months before the draft. But with the Giants, I had no idea. And it was, I was literally walked home, had a call from Leon. I was on a flight that night and in Sydney.
That's cool.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Like,
and this is just to Sydney as well. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it was. And to be honest, I think with the whole finish at Carlton, if I did resurrect my career and go somewhere else, I definitely wanted to move interstate. Yeah. Just to experience something different. And I probably felt that the reason my career didn't go as planned as it was I was a bit sheltered. I grew up in Fitzroy. Dad played at Carlton. Went to Carlton. I lived 5-minute drive from the ground. Never had to move away from family, hung out with my mates on the weekend. I never had to really sacrifice. I sacrificed going out on the weekends and stuff, but I never had to really dig deep. And, you look at it now, like if I was 18 and I moved to GWS, I would have come home straight away. But at a time now when I'm 25, got my partner, we're living in Sydney, and honestly can't see myself coming back to Melbourne. I've absolutely love it up there. It's incredible, and I couldn't be more thankful and grateful for them to one, give me an opportunity, and 2, to re-sign me again for another year. It's fantastic.
Yeah, good. And I mean, the Instagram profile of the GWS boys up there, they look like they're doing it pretty tough.
Yeah, very tough.
Do you think that you still live like the great lifestyle of an AFL player, but you do it with a certain level of like of people not knowing who you are, like sort of anonymity, I guess. Like, is there that, or is that sort of overblown sort of in the media because it's not Victoria? Do they go, people don't know who they are? Do you still get like recognised? You go to the beach, whatever. You ride on the bay there and all that sort of stuff, and all the boys are always getting around their budgie smugglers, whatever. Do people still just go? Do they go, there's Phil Davis, there's Vera, there's, or do you just walk around as if you're just another group of lads?
Honestly, look, again, I can't speak for the other boys, but I would. There was one time I got noticed. There was a Carlton supporter who was on holiday in Sydney. That was a good time. And
It was Jake, wasn't it?
that's how I'm on the show. No, it's incredible. Like it is a pot. Like I do love the fact of footy. You get to meet so many people that are invested in Carlton and not in Carlton but in footy. And I think for me, like playing for Carlton, it was incredible to meet those people. And no matter what, like they've still had my back through everything as well, which is so good. But to then experience it on the other hand of coming to a new club in a state where AFL's not dominated, it is very special and it's quite weird, but it's great and it's some of the boys I think it's awesome because I've experienced that and got the best out of it, whereas a lot of the other guys they've only heard about it and not actually experienced it. But it's sort of a hard one. You've got to know both, and I think there's pros and cons of both. Living in Melbourne, living in Sydney. A lot more free meals in Melbourne. Not so much in Sydney.
Okay, so before we get right into some of Dill's personal stuff, although we sort of scratched the surface there, we did mention that that the Gold Coast, would be trying to improve their draft hand a little bit further than what they've got, and they're after Carlton's pick 1. And the rumour last week is that they would be offering picks 3 and 6 for Carlton's pick 1. Now, as a Carlton supporter, wouldn't do it.
So how are they doing that? Is that the live trading? Is that
Yeah,
going
so you
through?
can still trade. Well, you can still trade draft picks right up until
Right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Collingwood and Geelong traded last week so Collingwood could get some more points and stuff.
Okay.
So
There you go.
yeah, so but purely draft picks at this stage.
Yes.
You can't. So you are still
I'm
the Giants.
I'm still the Giants.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, you are.
Until pre-season starts, I'm
gonna
still
free-
worried.
So what I've done is I've got the last 10 drafts. I've got pick 1,
Yeah, I like this.
and then I've got picks 3 and 6. So I
Oh,
want you
cool.
boys to tell me
Okay.
This is some good research.
whether or not. Yeah, this is how I spend my downtime. I want you to tell me whether or not you would have taken pick 1 or picks 3 and 6.
All right.
So in the 2017 draft, pick 1 was Cam Rayner. Would you rather have Rayner, or picks 3 Paddy Dow and 6 Jaden Stevenson? Dylan Buckley, you first.
Oh wow.
That's a no-brainer.
They're all such good players.
That's the
So wait, sorry, you're saying you get 2 for...
Yeah, so you either get 3 and 6, so Dow and Stevenson, or you get pick 1 Rayner.
Honestly, I rate all 3 on par. But just purely because you got the 2 over the 1, you have to go the...
I think that's how the game sort of works.
The balance of
Yes.
the...
I'd take the 2 as well. In this
Yes.
instance.
So you're both taking... Yeah, I think you'd have to in that.
Yeah. Rayner's a gun.
And the things with those
If
guys,
it
they're
means
still
anything, though, I
19
probably
too.
think over time, Rayner probably could be the...
Yeah.
Sometimes Stevenson will be could be an all-time.
Yeah,
So
so
look, they're all superstars.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still watch Carlton. Paddy Dow's incredible, and
Yeah.
and Jaden, what he's done in his first year, kicked nearly 50 goals.
Yeah, remarkable,
That's
isn't
it?
just,
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous.
So 2016, McGrath pick 1 to your mob, or picks 3 and 6 in McCluggage and Petreski-Seaton. Ben.
Well, that sounds biased, but who was the second one?
McCluggage and Petreski-Seaton or McGrath.
I'm taking my mate Andy on this one. Yeah.
It's bias, it is, but I agree that again. This is I see where you're going with this segment. I've never thought about it, but like it's very close. They're all very good players.
Yeah.
You probably got to take the 2 over the 1 if you're trying to rebuild.
No, I'm pointing to the door.
Oh, out the door.
We weren't really pointing to the door then.
Pointing at the fridge.
Okay, we'll try and whip through these a little bit quicker.
yeah.
Okay, 2015, Wiedering with pick 1 or Callum Mills and Aaron Francis 3 and 6.
I think we're yet to see Aaron Francis.
Yeah.
I reckon
Just
next
heavy,
year he's
very
going to
good.
really have a breakout. However,
Remember we said we were going to keep these short?
However,
Ben?
pick one.
Yeah, sure.
I'll take 3 and 6.
36. Yeah.
You mates with Jacob?
I am.
Used to be.
I don't like this. This is a shit game.
Yeah.
Shit game.
2014, it starts to
kill
get a
out of
bit
your
easier.
family?
Actually, it starts to get a bit harder because the top end talent. Anyway, pick 1, Paddy McCartan, or picks 3 in Angus Brayshaw and 6 in Caleb Marchbank.
3 and 6.
Yeah.
I don't want to stress you out. I might just ask Ben.
Just ask Ben.
2013, Tom Boyd, pick 1, or 3 and 6 in Billings and Scharenberg.
That's a tough one.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, because he's one of Granny. Yeah, I'll take pick 1.
Yep. 2012, Dill's mate Lockie Whitfield at pick 1, or picks 3 in Lockie Plowman and 6 Jack McRae from the Dogs.
Ooh. I'm going to take 1. I reckon
Yeah.
Whitfield is
Yeah,
just
Whitfield's something else, isn't he?
He's
so
absolute
good.
superstar.
Yeah.
2011, Dill's other mate, Jonathan Patton, or picks 3, Dom Tyson and Chad Wingard at pick 6.
You want to answer this one?
You know what? I think we can wrap the game up, but honestly, I think you've proved your point. It's a very, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's...
I'd take 3 and 6. If I was Carlton.
When I was doing this today, I was hoping to find the answer that what I wanted Carlton to do. I was hoping to find,
Well,
3
you're
and
a
6
Carlton
I've
man.
always
Do you
been-
want them to trade?
I think that because I know that it's Walsh, I don't want them to, because of all we've heard from Walsh and what
But that's
Carlton
the thing
need.
you've heard about him.
Well, I mean, he's from what all the raps and whatever is that he's the next midfielder that Carlton need. And,
Yeah. But have you heard of Moneyball? Remember that?
Yeah, well, this
great
is what I'm
movie.
trying
Yeah,
to prove
that's-
here, and
Yeah.
Moneyball.
Yeah.
based on his
That's me.
story.
Moneyball.
So 3 and 6. You take the 2 that are.
So right now,
better
Ben,
to go.
if you've got pick 1 and they come to you with
I'd
3 and 6,
be bold if I was Carlton, go for 3 and 6
okay,
because
Well, there you
one
go,
hasn't
that's
all it hasn't proved all the time.
very, very difficult decision. I'm going to stick with 1, and Sam Walsh will go on and play.
Well,
250
in 4
great
years'
games
time,
for
when
Carlton.
this show is definitely still running
Yeah.
in this kitchen, if we're not living here or not,
Yeah.
we'll still do it.
lease pending.
Least pending. We'll see. We'll see who wins that one.
Okay, well now
You
we've
can honestly say
got
I'm sure they'll all be fantastic players, and if not,
and,
just good people.
yeah,
In the
great
end, that's
people.
all that matters.
I reckon great people. We're going to have a quick break here, and then we'll get stuck in to Dill's personal life straight after this.
Oh, God.
We might just start off with the Dylan and Friends podcast. Can you sort of sell that a bit for us? Talk us through
Does it need selling?
how that's... Well, I mean, I'm a loyal listener, but, these people out there may not even know it exists if they live under a rock.
Yeah, no, you're totally right, 100%. Yes, thanks for the plug, boys. I have started a podcast. It's something I'm interested in, as you guys. It's fun. And I thought, look, if I can make a living out of talking some crap with some mates, then I'm pretty happy to do it. So I started a podcast, interview a few of the boys, get them up as soon as I can and as recent as I can. But I have a lot of fun with it and enjoying it. It's a bit of a side project. Footy doesn't last forever, so you got to think about these things.
What is... I'm not going to call it a slap in the face, right? But he rolls in with his podcast and he just goes with a Tom Mitchell, a Josh Kelly, and he gets these blokes up there and, Toby Green, Brett Delidio, and all these blokes that are just helping out with his show and stuff.
But has he had
Kudo.
Jack Fitzpatrick? And Jack Fitzpatrick.
It's just, like...
the big Fitz.
Oh, the fit. Well, I mean, I saw him at Moonee Valley, actually.
Did you?
Yeah,
I
great
heard he's
bloke.
been living there the last few weeks.
He's a devout member, Jack,
he?
at Moonee Valley. Yeah,
Good on him.
he's a good bloke.
I did try him, but he said he was busy, so
Right.
He's busy.
yeah.
He's pretty busy.
Just got to keep throwing the line out there and
That's
you'll
the
catch
thing,
one.
Yeah. That's it. That's a really
You
good
do.
way to...
That is a good way to look
Yeah.
at it. Maybe you
Well,
could start trying to help get us some guests at
Well,
some
maybe you
stage.
could start editing.
Okay, you're right. We each have our own skills. Oh, right. So we'll move on. So as I said, we've delved pretty deep in your personal life. We've gone. One of the things you like to do on your show is air some dirt about your guests, and it's often quite unknown about how you get it. But we've managed to find a couple of stories that the first one comes from a game of under-13s footy you played.
Hello.
You kicked 14 goals, but something happened when you kicked your 14th. Can you tell us what the go was there?
I don't even know this.
Oh God, yeah, okay. This isn't my finest moment, I'll be honest. I was a bit of a brat back in the day, and we were playing. I think it was the Q Comets down at the YJFL, playing at Peterson Oval down there. Great history, good ground. Grew up in Fitzroy, so I just used to walk there every morning. But yeah, it was good. Look, it was a good game. Had good service that day, very good service. But on the last one, I did get a little bit cocky, and I may or may not have ran into the goal square, turned around, and asked my opponent to chase me a bit more, and then dribbled it through. It was cringeworthy. I actually got sent off for it.
So you should have.
Yeah, and my dad nearly beat me up.
He was going to send you off.
Yeah, seriously, it wasn't my highest moment.
Dragged off the ground.
I got
heard.
dragged.
Dragged. He said, you'll be
I
lucky
could have
if
kicked
you ever
17, to
play
be
again."
honest. Seriously. That was, mind you, that was in the second quarter.
No,
No, I'm joking.
You looked at me right in the eye too. I was like, this is serious.
He made you believe
I
it.
didn't have 14 kicks for a couple of games.
No,
I
that
was
was
gonna say.
embarrassing. I actually do deeply regret that one.
Yeah, but 14 goals, I mean...
As a
what line
13-year-old
is it
too,
where
I mean,
can
you
do
know.
that? I mean, Jacob
You don't-
Jr.
yeah, I don't
did it
think
the
you
other
can
day.
ever-
He was waving to someone in the crowd.
Yeah, and he's a full-grown man with 2 kids.
No, you can never do that, I don't think.
no.
You know why I did it, though? Can I actually say?
Man, you've got the floor.
The story
Lance-
behind the story.
The week before, it was when I was starting to get into footy. And because I was, as a junior, believe it or not, I actually didn't watch AFL. I didn't know my dad played footy till I got to high school. And I had watched, we used to go to Carlton games when I just used to think that we were a fan, like, you know, they supported it. And
But
I went there and watched Lance Whitnell.
Did people not come up to your old man and be like, good on you, Jimmy? Like,
how do you not know? Like, I don't know.
Oh, you
I
just
didn't-
assumed that he was just a popular
Yeah,
bloke.
just like myself, you know,
Yeah.
people get around you. You're a good bloke. You're a good bloke. But no, I literally was at the game one day and I saw Lance Whitnell do it. And then again the next week I did it and learned pretty quickly it was wrong. So always try and be a good role model and hopefully kids never do anything that I do.
So
I don't think I've done that.
you're telling us that your second game of footy, you kicked 14 goals?
No, sorry. I played footy, but I never watched footy. I didn't.
Right.
So I didn't do Oz kick.
I thought you were saying you just got in.
No, I didn't do. I didn't do Oz
I thought
kick
that sounded like
and that much. But I played, you know, from under 10s and whatnot.
right.
But I never had been to watch a game. Like
Yeah.
when we used to go, apparently from memory, my parents said I used to cry and beg to go home because I just hated it so much.
There you go, Jack.
There you go.
There you have it.
You got any gold like that on that?
Oh, not so much goal, but
What's your favourite colour?
A little more.
What's your favourite colour?
Something more serious and a bit personal.
Yep.
I was doing like a little bit of research just to.
I love research,
You having someone on.
Yeah.
And so I typed your name in Google, Dylan Buckley, and you know Google have their suggestions.
Yep.
Yeah. So the first 3 suggestions were. So I typed in Dylan Buckley.
Yeah.
Came up with Dylan Buckley funny, Dylan Buckley sister,
Yep.
and then Dylan Buckley podcast. Do you not think that Google knows that you play AFL?
Well, it's probably playing a trick on me because in my 8 seasons I've only played like 41 games, so maybe it's just stating the obvious that maybe it's saying pick up your game, maybe you should be probably playing a bit more regular. But those 3, what was the first one? Funny, okay. Compliment, I suppose.
Yeah.
Depends how you take it. I actually heard a good quote, it was the other day. Life is not 10% what happens, 90% how you react to it. So I'm just going to take that as a compliment.
Well done. That's good.
The next one's sister, yes. Jess, she's my sister. Gorgeous girl, which has been, you know, what happens when you've got a gorgeous sister? Obviously, your teammates hit on her, and it's, you know, the joke of the club for your whole life. And then one of your good mates starts dating her, and now they've been dating for 4 years, which is Simon White. They didn't know, but, you know, for me, when that first happened, this actually is a quite funny story if you got time.
Oh, mate, we got all the time in
Have
the
we got
world.
time? Have we got time?
What else are we going to do?
But make it quick.
So, me and Whitey, good mates, and anyway, my sister just got back from Germany. She's living in Germany for a couple of years, and we're very close, very close. I'm a protective older brother, younger brother, and
Already old in your story.
it's got to the stage where, you know, me and Whitey he was like my older brother pretty much, and well, he actually technically is now. And anyway, a few times we'd you know, on weekends just gone out, had a couple drinks together, hanging out, and I'm not stupid, like I knew something was sort of going on. And anyway, Whitey comes up to me one day, we're in the car, and he's getting real weird, like getting like real awkward and stuff. He goes, "Oh, so how you going?" I was like, "Good." Like, what do you want? I knew exactly what was happening.
Come and sit on my lap.
And
for
he's
a little
like,
bit,
so
Dill.
like,
I got something to tell
this
you.
is like a real awkward chat. He's just like, so like, what do you reckon? He goes, like, I think I really like your sister, man. I was like, cool. He goes, what do you reckon if I ask her out? I was like, no. And he was like what? I was like, mate, there's no chance like it's ever gonna happen. Like seriously, like it's just not gonna happen. Got out of the car, slammed the door, walked in the club. Didn't speak to him for 6 months.
6 months.
6 months. So you can imagine a workplace. Like, it's quite hard to avoid someone like that, you know, in a small change room for
Especially
6
when
months.
you're doing lanes.
Yeah, literally. Especially when he's calling for the ball. And, yeah, went home, sprayed her. 6 months had passed, and obviously, you know, the worse you react to it, it just gave the boys more energy to get into me. So it was a tough 6 months for me, that 6 months. But after that, look, we sort of were on talking terms again. It took us a good good 12 months to get over it. Luckily now, they're very happy together, living together, been together for about 4 years, and it's fantastic. You know, I've got one of my great mates as a brother-in-law, and not that they're engaged yet, but yeah, it's good, and it sucked at the start, but it's worked its way. It's a bit positive now.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Google. Yeah, that all started from that Google question, didn't it?
Well, I thought you knew that, so I didn't have to tell the story.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
No, I'm genuinely intrigued. Yeah, you know.
I'm a big footy head, so.
You go a little bit further than I
Yeah.
typed in your name in Google. This is what came up.
Oh, dear. So we'll just go a little bit further back to your youth. I heard that you used to dominate the Fitzroy skating half pipe down at the skate park there in Fitzroy. You were actually a competitive skater
So
in
true.
your youth.
I'm so happy you found that one. Honestly, I'm wrapped. I couldn't be happier. Yeah, I did, mate. I was.
Was the skateboard your weapon of choice?
Yeah, it was. It was. I delved into a few things along my journey. I'm known as a phaseman, and sort of skateboarding was probably the biggest one over that time. It was always prevalent, but anything from the BMX, dirt jump riding, all these things, which I was always one of those guys that got into it, and I needed the best gear, so I'd save up all my money and go and purchase this awesome bike and commit it for 6 months, and then after that I'd never ride it again. But the skating was always one that's been great, and to be honest, I'd love to still be skating. I did enter a skate comp one year down at Fitzroy Bowl, came third,
Not bad.
You?
robbed,
Not bad.
mind you.
What was the
robbed.
prize?
It was back then. It was just like a bunch of stickers, pretty much. First
Echo
place was maybe a
stickers
pair of
and-
DCs.
Yeah.
Second place maybe
Real industry.
Etnies and a helmet, and yeah, I just got 80 stickers that I just put over everything in
Put
the
all
house.
over your
But,
deck. And
yeah, it was a good time. Fitzroy skate park. I grew up in Fitzroy, as I mentioned, but I lived in North Fitzroy. Went to the Fitzroy skate park every morning before school. Get up early, go before school, go to school that was next door, then back there.
back there for periods 3,
Back-
4 and 5.
Yeah,
And then
back there post school, and then we'd go walk over and do footy training at Peterson. So I had a very, very cool childhood. I absolutely loved it, and yeah, I wasn't the best skater, but I definitely loved my time skating.
right,
Well
well, there you
said.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. Who didn't love their time skating?
Oh, I didn't. I was shocking. At
I never been on a skateboard in my life.
my brother could skate, and I used to try and copy him, and I just
It's
I
not for
cried a
everyone.
couple of times, actually.
It's not for everyone.
No, it's not.
Yeah, my brother put
And that
his
sort of
skateboard.
correlates with surfing too, which I'm no good at either.
Yeah, my brother put his skateboard through the window, and that was the end of that.
That would be.
So that was about as far as I thought. Oh, I might try that. Oh no, he's getting thumped by mum. I'm not going to try that because skateboard's gone through the kitchen window. So part of obviously you get drafted. You move out, all this sort of stuff. You got more money than all your mates and stuff. So you move out in your first home, and then
Simon White
your
hates
first,
his sister.
Yeah.
and then it's all just downhill from there.
Yeah.
You've got to move
Yeah.
interstate,
Yeah.
But for a lot of young people, your first night in your new house is, like that first taste of real independence. You got no one around. You can do what you want, and you cook your own dinner.
Yes.
Eventful night for you, was it? Your first night out cooking for yourself?
Okay. Yeah.
It's funny that you rubbed your forehead then.
Yeah.
actually.
Okay. I know where you're going. No, whoever's
I
told
know
is.
you.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the first time I've ever cooked a meal, but it was the first. No. Okay. Let me tell a story. So yeah, it's. Yeah. Okay. I've never actually. This hasn't been told in public forum. I've only told a few people about
Well,
this.
look
so-
out! Look out!
And I'm lucky that it was in the off season because it was like I was, yeah. Anyway, so I'm my worst trait as a person is I'm extremely I'll be doing a million things at once. So as I was here, I was on making some phone calls just purely just because I had nothing else to do because you kept me waiting. But besides that, I'm always trying to do two things at once. So I was outside at home cutting up some trees actually, and I was just cut up the trees. I was literally about to go to a mate's place, so I was having a shower, and then I get out of the shower, and I'm calling a hire company to come and order a mulcher to blow the trees up.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I needed some, just in case no one's ever
I'm
mulched
with you.
trees. Yeah, I'm explaining for them. And yeah, so I'm inside, had the shower, put some aftershave on as I do because I like to smell good.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm on the phone. Anyway, I'm going to cook up a quick couple of gyozas on the stove. Anyway, so as I said, I'm on hold. I go to light the stove up, and for some reason it didn't click over to spark up. So instead of just turning it off and doing it again, I've been on the phone. I said, "Oh look, I remember seeing some matches." So I'm sort of thinking, talking to this guy, light the match up, walking over. I'm on the phone, bend down to light up this gas stove. It's been on for about 40 seconds.
Oh, no.
I've gone up to light the gas stove. As I've lit the gas stove, it's blew up in my face, catching onto my aftershave, up my face, up onto my hair. I'd had a hat on because I was trying to set the hair. You know when it's wet, you set it sometimes. Mm-hmm. Had the hat in, and it's come up. It's hit my eyebrows and hit me, and I was like, "Oh, like what just happened?" Like, I didn't know what happened. So, I lit myself on fire. If you didn't catch on to that, and I was sort of like, "Shit, I've just literally just been on fire." I don't know, like, you know when the shock kicks in, you don't really know what happens, and I was like, oh, "Okay, like, all right," just sort of waiting. I'm like, let me just give it 5 seconds just to see if I feel anything. Started to feel a bit, and when it was hurting, like it was burning. So I ran into the shower, and I just remember, like, you know when you go into those moments where you just like think like fight or flight. And I remember watching this documentary on this chick that had been burnt, and straight away she said she just went into the cold water, and they said that's the best thing you could have ever done, because if you went into warm water, it would have melted your face and stuff. So I just straight away went in the shower, chucked the cold shower on my face, and I was like, oh, thank God, it's relieved it. So I turned it off, and it just burnt even worse, like extremely worse, like for the next like minute. So I went back I was sitting under there for about a half an hour, just like burnt like my face, just thinking like, all right, who am I going to call here to like come help me? I don't like to, my mum panics a lot, like she's really like a mum. All mums are, so I said I'm not going to call her. I was like, look, I might just call my partner Jazz, I'll just let her know that I've lit myself on fire. So I call her up.
Yeah, Jazz is still, I'm on fire, call me back.
She's sort of one of those people that the reason I love her is she calms me down. I freak out, and she's always just like, oh, you'll be right. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll be fine. Like, it's okay.
Just a flesh wound.
Then I was like, fuck, this is really hurting. Like, it's hurting a lot more than I thought. And I looked in the mirror and I thought, this is pretty red. Like, I could see some blisters starting to come. And I called my doctor from Carlton. And I called him as well. I said, look, mate, I was trying to play it down. I was like, look, I just lit myself on fire. It was a little bit like, he goes, oh, yeah, just cold water. You'll be right. And then he goes, just send me a photo, though, anyway. And he goes, but you'll be fine. So, anyway, took a photo, sent in the photo, called me back straight away. Said, get to a hospital now. Call an ambulance. Like, that is a lot worse than what you made it out to be. I'm at Knox Hospital now. And I was like, oh my God, like, what's happened here? Like, this is, like, seriously in a lot of pain now. Like, it's starting to really kick in. So I didn't want to call an ambulance. So I ended up driving to Knox Hospital from McLeod, which is over half an hour away, with a wet towel over my face. So I was driving like this, and, like, every, like, so often just, like, looking at where I was driving, because I could not have water on it. Long story short, my whole face peeled off. Oh. Like, literally from, like, top to bottom. No eyebrows, eyelashes. Didn't have a beard at that stage anyway, but...
Or a mo.
Literally my whole face had peeled off from top to bottom. So that was an interesting month. My girlfriend had to draw on my eyebrows. Literally, I remember going to the club thinking, like, it was 3 weeks score, and I was like, oh, the boys aren't going to notice. And I remember walking around the corner of the club, and I saw Mark Murphy, and he goes, what the hell happened to your face? And I was just straight away like, far out. I'm literally not coming to the house for another like 4 weeks, and I'm so lucky. It was literally the start of off season. I didn't have to deal with it until I got back. So by the time I got back, it was all right. But I was pretty much that off season just stayed at home.
Wow, incredible.
That's a great story.
It's a great story.
It's a shocking story, but it is one of my low lights. And honestly, boys and girls, just be safe around fire because it is. Yeah. It burns you. Yeah. It does. It does hurt.
It burns. But did you get the tree mulched?
Later on.
All right, that's important.
That is important.
You got to keep the trees cut.
I actually said to the bloke, I actually panicked. I didn't even hang up with him. I said, mate, I'm going to have to call you back.
I'm on fire.
Yeah.
I know you kicked a few goals this year, Dylan, but are you really on fire?
Oh, how good. Benny?
I can't really top that, but I did have one.
I might be able to.
Yeah.
Huh?
I might be able to.
Oh, no.
You might be able to?
No, I don't think
Oh, well, I'll get this one
I've
in
still got a
early
couple
then, 'cause
more.
That's a good one. I was just, as I said earlier, I was doing a bit of research on you, and
Yep.
Obviously, you play for.
What was this one? Google, was it? Or was this more
This one is even better.
LinkedIn?
Wikipedia.
Oh, Wikipedia. Okay.
So I was looking at the GWS Wikipedia profile, and the first paragraph in the GWS one says the Greater Western Sydney Giants, nicknamed the GWS Giants or just Giants, is a professional Australian rules football club which plays in the Australian Football League, representing the Greater Western Sydney area and Canberra. Now, do you reckon the bloke who wrote that was just trying to get their university word count up, or
That was actually. I'm not even kidding. You know when you zone out.
I was not listening.
Yeah,
to it.
Look, I'll be honest. The Greater Western Sydney, which is a beautiful place, you've got to go there. We love the Western Sydney, the Greater of the Western Sydney, should I say? It is the biggest. You don't understand how big Western Sydney is. It is huge. It's nearly could be its own state. It's massive. So that's probably where I was alluding to there. He must have really just know the area quite well. He just wanted to show how big it actually was.
Yeah, it was great.
Just a big place.
Yeah. Western
Blacktown.
Sydney, you reckon, is big.
It's beautiful.
There you go.
God's country.
It is God's country. Yeah.
There you
It
go.
is.
That'll
the
actually
reference.
lead us in nicely to
I'll edit
yeah, the little rainbow down the bottom. Is that a trademark? Discussions with Dylan? How
It's
much can we
discussions with
possibly-
Dylan. Yeah, I can't really use it anymore just because I think that the club still own that one.
Oh, the
It was a
name.
cracking show.
They own the.
Not the God's country part.
No, they don't. But look,
You want to start afresh.
start fresh.
Yeah.
But look, it's great times, and I think at some point I will bring it back. But
Huge
Yeah.
show. Like people used to wait for that.
I don't think I appreciated how cool it was to. I really did enjoy doing that. It was good. At the time, it was a bit of a now. I was saying before, I do my own podcast, and I've literally got to come up with everything, and I've got to record it myself. I've got to find the talent. Literally, that they used to just call me like, "Mate, couch is there. This is here. Here's the questions." I wouldn't even read through them. They just straight in. What you saw was literally
What you knew.
plus
and what
3
was there.
seconds maybe of
Yeah.
cutting out a couple of things. So it was so much fun. And it started off with the boys absolutely hating it, but then it ended up that I couldn't end up doing them all because they were keen to come on. So I definitely do miss that. Maybe we'll come back to that one day.
That'd be nice.
I like it. Yeah. It's a good one.
Well, for the last question from your past, I guess. I guess one of the things that you taught when you're driving and when you get your license, is you do your mirror head check, whatever. And when you park your car, it's got to be park and it's going to be handbrake up.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on an incline, I would suggest that there might be a good chance that you
tend to agree
need
with
both
you.
of those
Yeah.
things in place. But I believe that our good friend Dylan here struggled with the concept one day, and it was left to rue his error.
No, no joke. I did this today again. It's just something that I've got
Was
problem
this
with.
in the 94 Commodore we saw out the front there?
Hey, that is a good whip, by the
That
way.
is
That's
good.
my Melbourne. That's my Melbourne whip, and
He
I.
reckons he's like, that's not his car. He's just leaning on
No,
someone's
that is
car.
definitely.
Surely there's a Sydney car that you roll around in.
Mate, I'm not to be
Well,
honest.
I guess Sydney, you could probably get transport.
Yeah, I'm a scooter man. I got my little scooter up
Right.
in Sydney, so I scoot down to the beach on that. But yeah, I've never been a car man. I've had the car that we're talking about in question. It's still got the marks on it. The story I will tell. I've still got that to this day. So
So that's the car.
no, not that one.
Oh.
My other one's in Sydney. So
right.
yeah, this is my girlfriend's dad's one of his work cars that I get to drive. So thanks George for that.
He's looking to sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's got a fleet of cars we can drive around for him.
Yeah.
Probably not. But
Worth a shot.
so yeah, the story you're alluding to, it is actually it's a really fond memory of mine because basically one of my mates, my dear mates, and rest in peace, Michael Mascoulis, one of my best friends who passed away a couple of years ago, and I speak of this story I think about it all the time because it's one of my best memories with him, and as bad as it was for me, it's still something that we laugh about. And anyway, he'd got back from West Coast, so he was drafted West Coast, and he moved home. And I was so excited to see him. I hadn't seen him for literally the whole year. So he lives in Greensboro. I shot out there on my Commodore and parked the car on his hill and got out of the car. I was that excited. Door was open, so I ran in. A few of the boys were already there. I was a bit late, and they were already in the spa having a boys' night. And it was a bit of a catch up with all the boys we hadn't seen in a long time. So we're in the spa. Already bought his off. I'd been in there for about 15 minutes, and Mass's dad came out, and Steve, he wouldn't mind me saying, he's one of he's the most funny, unfunny person I've ever met. So just the worst gags ever. And he comes out and just always has something to say, and he goes, "Oh, where's your car?" I was like, it's out the front. He goes, oh, yeah, good one, mate. Like, how'd you get here? And I was like, no, I drove. And he's like, your car's not there. And I was like, I sort of picked up a tone that, like, he wasn't joking, but I was still just like, whatever, mate. Like, good one. Let's like move on. Like, I'm just here, like, with the boys, leave me alone. And he's like, mate, seriously, your car's not there. And I was like, shit. So we all go to the front. All the boys are like, far out, where's your car? And I was like, mate, I honestly don't know. Like, we're looking around. Car's not there. I was like, shit, I must have left the keys in it and someone's stolen it. So I'm literally like, all right, like, what do? Like, call the cops. So on the phone of the cops, like, I've never called the cops before in my life, so I'm calling them like, this is weird. Like, I'm actually calling to report a stolen car. It's come in from the moment where I've just come to see one of my best mates and now my car's been stolen. Like, far out. As I literally get through to the chick, she goes, excuse me, what, fire police or whatever. And so I hear some lady go, what the hell? And I was like, shit, what was that? I look down the street about 150 metres and my car has gone through someone's front fence, knocked over their, straight through their big bushes, through their front fence, and it's sitting literally like a metre off their front doorstep.
Oh, God.
This is 150 metres down the street. It's the scariest story ever because it could have ended up
wiped out.
It could have ended up really badly.
Yeah.
I could have hit every car,
Yeah.
but for somehow this car's parked on both sides of the street, and it's literally just rolled the whole way down, split the whole way middle, and it's rolled through their front fence. And I'll never forget, like, thinking back to it now. I must have got out of that car, walking into the house. As I'm walking in, my car's just like slowly like going behind me, like the whole way down. Literally. And no, I went down there and apologised for that one, and said sorry, and I was deeply sorry about that. But the car was fine. I had a few scratches, obviously, but they were great about it. I just had to pay about, I think it was like $600 to just get them a new fence and a few new plants and stuff, and we just went back in the spa after that.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was a good night.
Pull the handbrake up.
Pull the handbrake up. So you would have thought I'd learned, but it's, for some reason I just always forget to pull the handbrake up. Not just that, but I literally left it in drive. I just turned it off.
Just got out of the car, literally. Just, I'm here, I'm out.
Oh,
Great.
You've done some great research, by the way.
Oh,
This is fantastic.
Yeah,
I've totally
we've
forgot.
done some great research.
Seriously forgot.
We
yeah. I don't know about you. You've definitely put in work. But you edit.
I've provided the picture as well.
You edit and you have access to 2 search engines in Wikipedia and Google.
True.
So,
Not
everyone
true.
has
I
that.
might actually start using them for mine.
Mind you, I didn't know you were coming until about a couple of hours ago. I was still at work.
We all. Anyway, Benny, I reckon that this has been our best pre-season show we've ever done.
Yeah, I reckon it has been.
Is that because it's... You know,
No,
I
we
don't know.
did that one in the our
Yeah,
first
that was a
one.
shocker,
We
our
did.
first ever one.
It was
We tried to
terrible.
commentate AFLX. That'll never see the light of day.
Mate, try play it. It's that hard. I didn't even know what was going on.
All right,
very
we
good.
might have to edit that part out, because you can't be talking shit about AFL.
No, it was a great game. I'm saying it was a fantastic game. It was
hard
just
to play.
couldn't get a kick, which
Yeah.
is nothing normal. So.
Yeah.
Dill, thanks very much for your
Yeah.
time, mate. You've been more than generous. Giving up your time, you've been well sought after by the Magoos for a long time,
Yep.
and you've made the trip down, especially from Sydney
for
to
this.
be here today. Good luck with everything that footy holds for you, and Dylan Friends is going great guns, as we know. If you've ever got a spillover of guests, feel free to shoot them down
100%.
our way. They can stay
will.
on the couch here.
Yep.
I'm sure Joshy Kelly would love that. You know,
He would. He
Or if
would.
you're lacking a
I don't
person,
think.
maybe.
No offense, but Joshy Kelly he's a Brighton boy. He's not like our northern suburbs.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
Fitzroy, Preston,
Yeah.
and Greensboro. So
Yeah.
he might be a little bit scared on this sort of furniture and whatnot.
It hasn't
He's-
been clean, so he's
he's
probably
used
maybe
to-
Toby Green then. Toby Green.
Toby would love to come. I'm sure. Yeah, he's a good Ashburton boy, and he.
There you go. Fantastic.
Love
Look
it.
out.
Toby. Bring him on.
Actually, look, before I let you go, Dylan, we have to finish by covering you in glory. Talk to us about the time you got best on the grand final. Nice and quickly, leave us with that positive thought. Who were you playing against? Talk us through that premiership nice and quickly, because...
You know what? It was a great. It's probably easily the best day. I'm going to say the best. Yeah, it was easily one of the best days of my life because it's a best premiership. You know, winning a premiership. I don't know if you've done it. It's incredible. It's sad that I haven't won one since, but this team that I played with from under 10s to under 15s, we're all best mates still these days. You got your Brock McLennans, your Gabe Hamiltons, Hal Hunter.
Household names,
Michael
really.
Schoolis, these guys, you know, maybe Northern Footy League guys will know, but incredible players and incredible friendships. So when we won that game, it It was beautiful, and make it even more sweet, it was obviously against such a star-studded team in Ashburton, which is duly noted that they had Tom Mitchell, your Brownlow medalist, Toby Green, Jack Viney, your Melbourne captain, Tom Curran, and one that I found out this year as well was a guy from Collingwood as well.
I remember
Help
I've
me
heard
out.
the story.
Played for Collingwood or
He
lived there?
plays at
Was it-
Collingwood still.
Oh, I've heard the story 1,000 times. It wasn't Magden. Nah. He was older than that. But a Collingwood player.
Collingwood player, another Collingwood player. So, it is fantastic. It's a great story.
And there you go. So you get Norm Smith.
I actually didn't get Norm Smith.
best
I
time.
actually didn't get Norm Smith. I said
story's
that on my own
great,
podcast. It's funny being cocky on your own podcast, but not on someone else's. So I didn't actually get best on that grand final. I'm pretty sure Dougie Morris actually got best on.
Oh,
Oh,
at
that's
Northcote
yeah.
Park, love plenty.
Yeah, the
Mind
third, I
you,
believe.
the entries were great. He
Yeah.
didn't leave the 20-metre mark. So
Had to get it
Yeah.
from somewhere.
yeah,
But he would have told everyone about it.
yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
did.
Old 2 medals Morris.
Yeah, 2 medals Morris. The third.
The third, don't forget it.
Dill, this time we're actually going to let you.
Okay, thank you.
Mate,
Yeah, I gotta go.
pleasure. Yeah, there's no watch there.
Thanks very much for that, mate.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks for
Right.
coming on.
Thanks.
Much appreciated.
Thanks. No worries.
Have a good one. All right now.